good. Turn the music up and let it move you. Make you wanna shout, make you wanna holler, hallelujah. That'll make you wanna shout.
Oh, yeah. New Year's Eve, we're hot.
When you listen to the music, let it sink into you.
Mothership has landed. Has all the voices of pirate radio. Welcome to the jungle. Stereo 90.7. Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
CPR Street Gang, this is all fighting. Standing by, over. CPR Street Gang, this is all fighting. Standing by, over.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
Clocks run out. Time's up. Wind is blowing cold and dark. On the road and no way out. A broken house, a smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
Back here so I can.
A little bit is fine. Take my hands outside. Got into a fest. Who claims it? The man they want to be. Was it something I missed?
Happy New Year on the East Coast. My name's Jimmy. Into the Microcosm is on the air. Welcome into the great wide open. Coming to you live from the Santa Cruz Mountains. It's your countdown to the new year on the West Coast. Want to welcome all the Clyde Lewis listeners. We're over live in the Microcosm with Jimmy G and Strike Zone on YouTube. Healthy group of chatters over there already.
Then it's light outside. Don't disturb the mist. Hey, Ghostface, he looks back at you. Don't ignore his lips.
Epic Journeyman. Are you that?
I am here.
Excellent.
Barely. You
Stand
know,
by. got mouse issues.
Oh, those bastards.
I know.
Yeah.
Nasty mice.
The day started out nice. It was beautiful here in Hawaii. Perfect New Year's intro. We're not there in New Year yet, but New Year's Eve intro. And then as the day progressed, the gray started coming. The clouds started coming big. And by the time I left work, I had to leave work early. It was like the storm of Noah, man. Big time. Like huge monsoon, like winds and rain, right? It's horrible. But it's okay now. It's just dark now.
It's awful. Well, I'll just say, I mean, I've been sitting here in the rain for the last 2 weeks. The rain just stopped today, and I had everything set up outside. I was doing the show outside. It's been a nice, warm, sort of tropical scenario, but now the rain is gone. The clouds have cleared out, and it got super cold. It's like 39 degrees outside and damp. So tonight I'm in here next to the actual Yule log. It's not a fake Yule log. I'm sitting in front of the wood stove in the living room tonight.
Right, with the old stove.
Old school.
Ben Franklin stove, yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to talk about this last night. We were talking about the weird weather things. And one I didn't get to, it's on the list, was the fact that it hadn't snowed in Colorado in the Rockies, on the face of the Rockies, I guess the west face, since the whole year. It was bone dry until December 10th, right? The latest it's ever been for the snow had ever come to Colorado on record. And here it was, and it snowed a little bit, and then it stopped. And what happened? It was dry for another couple of weeks, and then we got this huge, like, California wildfire thing that happened over there yesterday. And okay, fight the wildfire, and the people are trying to get back to their houses, maybe get some stuff out and stuff like that. And it snows. It's a total blizzard. not a blizzard, but then the snow comes. Things like that aren't supposed to happen.
It's a never-ending battle against Mother Nature. That's why you just gotta lean into it, man, or build yourself a nice fire and kick back. Sit here at Aftermath FM, snuggle up next to your radios or your speaker systems or your headset, whatever it may be, and just kick back and relax. We're gonna go all the way till 1 a.m. tonight. And so we got a long night. We're taking it easy. We're not in a rush. Okay, but I'm just saying, let's drag the corpse of 2021 out onto the funeral pyre and let it burn, man. Let it burn, Jack. Because I've had about enough out of 2021. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to it and talked to it.
I do. What's so funny is we said the same thing in 2020. Man, I've had enough of 2020. I can't wait for this year to be over. It's got to be better next year. And then 2021 came. It's like, it started off kind of okay. Well, I won't say okay, but it was different. And then it's like, oh, no, things are going to be fine. Next thing you know, it's like Lucy pulling the football away with Charlie Brown. It's like, we just were there. It was going to be cool. And now we got what? Another variant? The Delta? No, come on. And then you go to the next step. It's like, okay, we're finally seeing the hump. This one's getting over. We got what? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. How many times can Lucy pull the football? It's amazing. Yeah, I'm ready. This one, let this one go.
I say, let's throw caution to the wind, man, and let's just go into 2022 into the great wide open, because we got to get past the first 5 days of 2021. And if we get past those first 5 days, man, I'll be feeling mighty good, I'll tell you that. But in the meantime, it's New Year's Eve. It's Aftermath FM. It's the place the cancel culture hates. Because we could do anything we want over here. We could say whatever we want. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm going to run amok. But what it does mean is, let's do this. You ready? Here we go.
Eddie waited till he finished high school. He went to Hollywood, got a tattoo.
It's Aftermath FM.
He met a girl out there with a tattoo too. The future was wide place they both could afford. He found a nightclub he could work at the door. She had a guitar and she taught him some chords. The sky was the limit. Into the great wide open, under them skies of blue. Out in the great wide open, a rebel without a clue. The paper said it always played from the heart. He got an agent and a roadie named Bart. They made a record and it went in the charts. The sky was the limit. His leather jacket had chains that would jingle. They both met movie stars, partied and mingled. Their A&R man said, I don't hear a single. The future was wide open. Into the great wide open, under them skies of blue. Out in the great wide open.
Zepparella. Shall I keep it going? Why the hell not?
If it keeps on raining, levee's going to break. If it keeps on raining, levee's going to break. When the levee breaks, I have no place to stay. Need on the levee, taught me to weep and moan. Lean on the levee, taught me to weep and moan. He's got what it takes to make a mountain man leave his home. Well, well, well.
Nothing like a little Zepparella on a New Year's Eve. Epic Journeyman's here. Brandy Lou, I think I see you. Did you just come out of the fog, out of the green room over there? I think I see you
I
over there.
came crawling out.
There
My
you are.
egg is nog, Jimmy.
Nice. Well, hey, are you already in the new year in Texas?
We are.
Happy
and
New
there was
Year.
fireworks, and it was beautiful, and everybody was screaming and hooping and hollering out in their backyards, and it started to rain, and the fireworks show was over.
Really? Were their guns going off? I mean,
They were.
Yeah,
Yes.
the guns are already starting to go off here, man. Here close to what are we 2 hours away or something like that? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I say 2021 couldn't be gone a minute too soon for me. What about you now? So is 2021 a year you just as soon forget? Wish that it happened to somebody else.
Good riddance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
what
I
I'm
said, I
saying.
egged my nog and was like, that's it, enough.
That's it. Goodbye. Listen, I tried my hardest to figure out why these phones won't work, but there's some setting in Skype I can't figure out what it is. So we're not going to be able to open these phones up tonight unless you have my Skype already. If you have my Skype contact already, you're always welcome to call in. So and that goes for anybody who's listening, who's up, who has my Skype contact. You want to call in, you call in, and that'll be an interesting group of callers if somebody calls in off my Skype contact list. So Billy Ray
Who knows
Valentine
what the shadow
threatened he
knows.
was going to call in, but I somehow doubt he's gonna, because he doesn't roost up too late. He posts up and goes to sleep early. He's gone. He's probably I mean, what is it? It's 3 in the morning over there, something like that. 1:30 in the morning on the East
Where?
Coast.
It's 8 hours.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
3 hours from you.
Yeah, the East Coast. So it's what. So I haven't heard from Rio since he went to Texas. So I don't know where he is tonight. He's off on his roam, and I can't blame him, man. He's out running and ripping and running, and I'm here next to the fire with everybody here at Aftermath FM. And
He's got the Bruce Springsteen thing, going in the radio as he's driving on the highway in the dark,
You long
Baby, I was
home,
born to run.
Tom Joad. So yeah. So are you looking forward to it now? 2021's gone. 2022's coming in. I haven't put anything together yet for tonight. I will as we progress. Because, I mean, I think there's some memorable moments we'd like to all forget from 2021. Maybe some phrases we'd like to see hit the road. We don't want to hear it anymore. Like deep state. I'm done with that. Why is there a deep state? What's the difference?
Why
Now
is
there's a deep church. Did you hear about this? There's something
Okay,
called deep
you tell.
church now.
Okay.
It's like Alex Jones the other day. He goes, "Well, if it's time for you to, if Trump doesn't stop, promoting the vaccine, I'm gonna pull his covers or whatever." I'm thinking to myself, well, dude, if you got information on him this whole time and you've been keeping quiet, why you been keeping it quiet, letting people
Right.
go on thinking it all this time?
I said all along, man. He's gonna cooperate with the commission, right? This is
on.
gonna happen. He's just setting it up for his listeners, like Trump's just not. He doesn't know better. I like the man who's not. He's not the one behind all this. I have the information on
Well,
Stone.
I just find it-
and
No,
Hawley
John-
and on Cruz and
I'll
yeah,
tell-
yeah,
Jones
right,
is
right.
a man of opportunity. It's what he is.
I'll tell you what, man. I find it coincidental that when the Lane Maxwell trial was going, all of a sudden, Trump, he started to do the dance, man. He started to do the dance like a puppet, running around promoting that vaccine. Because they said they had they had film of him, man. So like I was saying when that trial was going, they were using that trial to get everybody to do what they want them to do. They said, look, you better do what we tell you, or your name's going to come out in this trial. Just that simple. Because every single person on the list who went on that plane, they got tape on that person. That whole thing was an operation. I mean, somebody brought up an article that was written back in 2015 or something that had to do with that got scrubbed off the internet. That had to do with the Epstein operation and who was actually behind the whole thing. So I mean, I don't know. It's not really necessarily something I wanted to get into tonight. So I'm going to steer clear and try to stay.
Well, it's a 2021 moment though, Jimmy. It's worth talking about.
All
I mean,
right.
because it is. I mean, it's a 2021 thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so much happened in the end of the year in December. I mean, we lost John Madden. The Ghislaine Maxwell verdict came down. We lost a bunch of people. You know what's funny though? It's not funny. It's just interesting. It's gonna be remembered most for losing Betty White today. Actually,
Yes, that made me cry. A few days short of her 100th birthday, I was so sad.
Literally,
about that too.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
tell us from a woman's perspective what you thought about Betty White. Like, I always loved her. I thought she was great. You know,
I loved her.
I got to be honest. When I heard that, the first thing I thought to myself was, didn't she already die once, twice?
No.
I don't remember. I thought I remembered her. Maybe it was somebody.
Betty.
Maybe it was Maud or something.
It was probably Maud, yeah. And then there's Maud.
That other old bag. What was her name? She was the youngest.
Ruth McClanahan.
Yeah.
McClanahan.
Is
Yeah.
she still around?
No.
She's
But
like
all of them are gone now. She was the last one, Betty White.
Was she really?
Yes, she was.
So it's a time has passed. Another
icon
bites the dust. It's
so strange because just yesterday I was telling somebody, I hope Betty White makes it to her 100th birthday, and then I read that today and I was like, no way.
Get out of here.
No,
she only missed it by a little over 2 weeks. Yeah, it's the 17th, I think.
Missed it by that much.
That doesn't count.
No, I mean that was a Get Smart reference. If you ever watch Get Smart, well, I mean,
yes.
We had a major loss from ZZ Top this year too.
Yep.
And that's too bad.
Was that the drummer? Who was it? I think we mentioned it before.
Listen, let me just say this, man. The little old band from Texas, 3-piece, before they started getting into all those bad on Nationwide the albums before that, they kicked ass. That Fandango album, I bore holes in that thing listening to it.
When you're driving down the highway at night and you're feeling that wild turkey's bite, don't give Johnny Walker a ride, 'cause Jack Black is right by his side. You might get taken to the jailhouse and fined. You've been arrested for driving while blind. Now just the other night with nothing to do, we broke the case of proof 102 and started itching for that wonderful feel of rolling in an automobile. You can say we was out of our mind, and let me tell you we was blind while blind. And then they had us up against the wall. Hey, it's only blood green alcohol. And there ain't no cause for alarm. We ain't out to do nobody no harm. How could anyone be so unkind to arrest a man for driving?
How can anyone be so unkind to arrest a man for driving while blind? Used to be able to drive while blind back in the day. I think back in Texas, back in the day, you used to be able to just drive around with a beer in your cup holder. I'm pretty sure you could. I'm pretty sure.
I think you still can. Isn't it, Brandy? You can check me on this. Isn't it?
No,
No. The driver can't. But can the passenger still have a
People
beer?
do it.
Passengers.
I don't think that we're supposed to drive with open container in the car, but people do it.
Those were the days, man. You know?
Well, in the 80s, yeah.
Before the
when I went
helmets?
to go see my friend in Odessa, it was totally okay to have open beer in the car as long as the passenger was the one drinking.
Well, that's what I say,
not
man.
anymore.
Those were the days, man. You know, you didn't.
Arizona was like that too.
Kids rode their bikes without helmets on, ride skateboards. knocking their teeth out, busting their nuts on their bikes, you know, knocking their skulls together. It was crazy, man. I guess that's how you learn. That's how you get common sense, I guess, if you get banged around.
What makes you trampoline proof?
Man, I spent hours on trampolines in San Diego. I used to take, when I was a kid, man, I think I was like 12 years old. They used to have this thing in San Diego called Dial-A-Ride. You could call it, and you could go 50 cents a mile. It would cost you 50 cents a mile. And when we were kids, man, we just called Dial-A-Ride, get a couple bucks, call Dial-A-Ride, go all the way up to this trampoline place. Batting cages and trampolines, man. You could rent trampolines for half an hour. I think it was a couple bucks. I think it was $2.50 or $5 all day or something like that. We just go up there and jump on trampolines all day and night, man. And then take Dial-A-Ride back home. You know? You couldn't do that today, though, man, kids, huh? Kids wouldn't be rolling around. Now, we rolled around, man. We went everywhere. We went down. I mean, you could get...
Isn't Dial-A-Ride for the handicapped now?
I don't know.
I think it is. It may not be the same thing, but there is a Dial-A-Ride. But now you have those parks that, like, it's inside and the floor is like trampoline.
Yeah. Well, you could get in the San Diego Zoo if you're 12 and under. You could get in for free.
Oh.
So we used to take the bus from La Mesa down to the zoo every day for 50 cents. And then we get into the zoo free, and then we just ran wild in the zoo. Me and 5 or 6 of my friends.
Oh, you're gonna love this. I was so poor, even when the bus was a quarter back then. That's what it cost. Number 7 bus, right? That I walked from La Mesa to the zoo. And I'd take the bus home. I'd have that quarter to get me home, but I'd walk all the way there from La Mesa.
Man, we used to go to the zoo so much that we knew where all the paths were in the back of the zoo. You know what I'm saying? So we'd be like,
the archery range under the bridge, right? You go on the back side, and they had that archery range down there nobody knows about.
Man, we were back there. We found some emu eggs one time, and we were like, it was right next to the fence, and we were trying to figure out how to get it out, and they chased us out of there. Yeah, man.
Just about every zoo have an opening somewhere in the back that kids sneak in?
Well, I don't know, man. We were just going in where the people worked. Like, we'd sneak in there, because that's how. I mean, do you remember the little baby elephant that was at that zoo, at the San Diego Zoo, Jimmy? No.
She was really naughty, and the year that I went, you know, I probably saw you there sometime because we visited the San Diego Zoo.
Well, I had blonde hair down past my shoulders when I was 12 years old.
You look like Tom Petty. You look like Tom Petty, man. That's who you look like.
Sure.
Back in the day. Yeah, I'm telling you right now.
Well, she took her trunk and she picked up the hose and she sprayed us all.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Naughty.
And the San Diego Zoo, what I remember most, what I enjoyed the most was they had this aviary you could go in, and it was all these little tropical birds from all over the world, you know, and they're all in this one thing, and you could get you could get this container for like 10 cents, and you could get this container and put mealworms in there. And you have these mealworms in there, and these birds would just come flying up and land on you and stuff. It was really cool. Super colorful birds. You know. Wow. Later on, when I was like 18 years old up here in Northern California, I got a job working at Marine World Africa USA, and I worked with the big cats and the elephants. Literally with lions, tigers, and elephants. I used to have to go every morning when I got there. I have to go to the elephant barn. We'd have to get the elephants out and walk them up to where they're going to go do the show. But first you had to clean the elephant barn. And then we would get this flatbed truck would roll up with all these boxes on the back of all these different bananas and all this different stuff. Like hundreds of pounds of food. We'd drop it. And, yeah. So no, I mean, there's quite a bit of the tigers and the lions and the bears. No bears, but it was funny. Yeah, it was funny because I wanted to. Where I wanted to be was with the dolphins, man. you know. But there was mostly Asian chicks working with the Dolphins for some reason. I don't know, I don't know why. But there was no guys for some reason. I don't know. The Dolphins must have liked the ladies or something. And who can blame them? We'll be right back.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
'Tis the season, and to celebrate, in the month of December, Ground Zero and Aftermath.fm are offering magnificent deals for listeners. Check it out. For the entire month of December, fans of Ground Zero can get an exclusive membership for only $49 for the year. And that's not all. Premium memberships are only $79 for the year. Need some stocking stuffers? Well, we have something for that too. A premium friends and family plan is just $129 for the year. All memberships include access to all of Ground Zero's archived shows. That's thousands of hours of Ground Zero on demand. You'll have complete access to the document libraries and research groups, and you'll have full participation in a monthly Zoom chat with the man himself, Clyde Lewis. So what are you waiting for? Come on over and take advantage of these great Christmas deals right now. For more information, head on over to aftermath.media right now. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Be careful with the food. Someday they get smart. Be careful with the food. Someday they get smart. Treat you so cold and chilly. Lord, it will hurt you to your heart. Can't you remember?
Oh, yeah. New Year's Eve on the West Coast. Happy New Year everywhere else. We're the last. Epic Journey will be the last one to celebrate. But Johnny Winter, be careful with a fool.
How foolish I used to be. I used to love you, woman. How bad you treated me. You know I used to cry about you, woman. I walk the streets late at night.
Damn. They don't make them like that anymore. That's it, man. When those guys are gone, they're gone forever. That's it. They were here for a moment, and they're gone. And, just like 2021 is getting ready to go away here momentarily, if not too soon. 1 more hour, 55 more minutes left till the countdown to the great wide open.
So what's the thing you're going to miss least, other than the obvious one, right, about 2021? I mean, like, what do you want to see go the most, basically?
What? What do I want to see go?
Yeah, you said deep state, which isn't a 2021 term really, but that's a good one though. I think it should go. I think it's because most people don't even know what it means, right? So it'd be great to see that go.
Yeah,
but
it's a phrase that gets thrown around, but who knows what it really means?
Mm-hmm. Well, Mountain Devil's going to join us. I'm going to go over and see if I can find. I'm going to see if I can go find her in the green room there. So why don't you guys jump in here? Brandy, what is it you're gonna? What term do you want? What do you want to get rid of for 2021? What are you gonna throw on the funeral pyre? I'll be right back.
That's easy. I want to get rid of the term mainstream media, and I know there's a thing, and I think I know what it is, but if you think about just that term itself, it's like, okay, well, what's mainstream? It's sort of like what's normal, and I just get kind of tired of hearing it. And we have a lot of phrases, just like with the deep state, we throw it around. And do we really know what it means? And when we do that, are we any better than, the mainstream media and fake news and all that kind of stuff?
No.
I just wish we could talk, I just wish that we could say what's really happening and just kind of get a grip. What do you think, Epic?
Yeah, no, I'm on the same wavelength there on that. I think that the term fake news should go away. Same thing. Yeah. It's basically the same premise. It's like, because what's fake? I mean, there's news, man. I mean, there is news. So is everything fake news or mainstream media that doesn't agree with your point of view? Because that's honestly what's happened to polarize our country. Is exactly that. But well, it doesn't agree with my point of view, therefore it's fake or it's mainstream media, and there's my out that I don't have to listen to it. No.
Well, that's kind of my point. That I think that's what happens is people define it the way that they understand it or the way that they would use it, and it's not necessarily accurate. So while this mainstream media may be putting out some fake news because they're paid to do it, or for whatever reason, because journalists aren't necessarily really studious about what they're reporting anymore. They're just saying what they've been told to say or what they think they're supposed to say instead of reporting what's really happening. But that's been going on a long time. So the point is, how do we say something about it without just making it worse by repeating connotative phrases ourselves?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy. Actually, we just have to go back to the way things were prior to Reagan. And I'm blaming him specifically on this because this was his thing, right, where they got rid of the fairness doctrine. People make all kinds of arguments about why you shouldn't have the fairness doctrine, blah, blah, blah. But I'm telling you, the reason you had the fairness doctrine was if you had a point of view, it was commentary, you had to say so. So if your point of view was from a right-wing perspective or a neutral perspective or a left-wing perspective, you had to say that's what it was. And you also had to give the other side equal time. And the reason for that was that back then, prior to 1980, whatever it was, 80, I guess it was 81.
Like 81, 82, yeah.
What it was that news was not for profit. It was a losing proposition for all the networks. They didn't make money on the news. It was a service they provided. You had your national news was on for like an hour at 6 p.m. local time, basically. And then you had your local news from 5 to 6. And that was your journalists, they were telling you what they saw in the world and trying to put it all together in a brief time. They had to get it out there. It wasn't 24-hour news service like this today, where it's infotainment. It's infotainment and it's for profit. Just like hospitals became for profit, medicine became for profit. That was Nixon, right? Don't get me wrong. This isn't a Republican thing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's just naming the administrations, right? Johnson had every bit as much to do with Kaiser stuff as Nixon does. Don't get me wrong, but it just happened in Nixon's administration. But the fact that these corporate interests became so involved and the profit motive became the main driver changed everything, because news used to be about truth and providing a service. It wasn't about spinning things for a profit, to keep you engaged. And it's this idea of engagements, and the engagements in social media are about the things that make you the most angry, that polarize you the most, get the most engagement. And we're in a really slippery slope here. Like the sooner we get rid of those things, the better off we're going to be, man. Because we're not ready for it. We haven't been educated as a population yet about the overall effect it's going to have on our society. We're seeing it right now, but it's too late.
I propose that it started way before Reagan and Johnson and all that, though, because, money buys power, money buys stories. And I think people were being manipulated with propaganda long before all that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
The level it is now, but
that's the thing about saying that there's fake news is like for you to think that there's such call something a commercial. So you think there's a defining moment between the show you're watching and the advertisement, but the show itself is advertisement. And the same thing with fake news. If you called something fake news, it's assuming or making the assertion that there's some news that's real. But all news is fake. Okay? Where do these stories all originate from? They all come from someplace, right? So I mean, Epic, you looked into a little bit into the National Enquirer, the Weekly World News.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Mad Magazine, all these odd little places that storylines.
Madison Avenue, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have this incredible connection to, and this is not by any means meant to imply a racial motive. It's just it was a bunch of Jewish kids from Brooklyn, literally, right? that started most of this stuff. Now it went other places. I mean, the people who owned National Enquirer later, and the people who ran Mad Magazine, and the people who did Madison Avenue later and ended up on K Street, those are different people in the long run. But the originator of this is this band of kids, man, that grew up together in Brooklyn, and it's undoubtable. I mean, there's no way you cannot help but see it when you look at it, and it's well documented. So this basically post World War II grouping of these kids who came up and reached their peak of prowess as adults in the 50s influenced society forever, and made it. What started as something was like a joke and humor, and then okay, we can make some money as being a something we can do as a advertising, right? It became like this incredible tool, because it's the first time that people ever used psychology to affect a mass of people that way, and that's what Madison Avenue did. That's what the these people did, and even in the humor. That's what they did, right? And I'm not saying it was just this one group of people, but the ones that know the best.
But the thing was, too, is that lumped in there with all these crazy stories about, Bill Clinton having sex with an alien or whatever, or monkey baby or whatever, ghosts, aliens. But in there also was other stuff. And so what it was, originally was the original clickbait. So the thing is because there's ridiculous stories on the cover, there's no reason to think that anything inside of that magazine had any value. But it turns out that they were actually disseminating a lot of information through those methods: Weekly World News, National Enquirer, so on and so forth. I mean, that's what the plot line is to that. To the Robert Redford movie, what's it called again?
3 Days of the Condor.
Yeah, 3 Days of the Condor, exactly.
So so what they're doing here is really profound, actually. And what they did is they took the idea of principles from music. Okay, music has something that every musician knows called the hook, right? The hook, and the hook is what people remember, and you build everything around the hook, right? But the hook is the more important thing, and so. The hook is what gets your attention and what keeps it playing in your head. Well, taking that same thing and using it in a literary way as a headline, Bat Boy abducted by aliens gets Hillary Rodham Clinton pregnant, that gets your attention, right? That's the hook. At that point, you're gonna buy the song. You're gonna buy the in this case that Weekly World News. That's what that was. But or the National Enquirer, whether it be Diana's, affair with so-and-so or whatever, right. The more salacious, the better, because, and that's the whole point of it. Every snake oil salesman literally plays on that very thing. The more fanciful, the better. The more extreme, the better, right? Because if you can make people suspend their sense of disbelief, like that they use in the movie industry all the time, they say that term, long enough, it doesn't matter what they bought it for. They don't think about what they just paid for that newspaper or that magazine anymore. They bought it, right? And then to actually use it as a way to steer society, that's what's new. That's what social media has done to us.
So
When
we watch a TV show, we suspend our disbelief for the moment for the TV show, just to be enjoy it. Same thing, and we're being advertised to the whole time. We're being socially engineered. We're being shown products, styles, hairstyles, all this stuff. Same thing with what you're saying, Epic Journeyman, the hook. The same thing with these newspaper type things. It looks like a newspaper, it's made out of the same paper. It looks just like newspaper. What's the difference between the Weekly World News newspaper and the newspaper that you buy out of the machine that says news on it? We believe, we suspend our disbelief when we watch the news, don't we? We believe everything that's on there. I mean, as people, I'm just saying overall, I'm not saying us and this audience, but I'm just saying in general. People believe it because they say it's news. It's, you know what I mean? Somebody's on there saying this, telling you a story. It says right there, I'm reading you a story. Right? You see what I'm saying?
What's the name for story? The narrative, right? So they changed up the terminology, but it's the same thing. It's just another way of phrasing it. And so, and even you look at journalism. Journalism 101 is about telling a story, right? It's about getting the story. It's about getting the scoop on the story. It's about all these things that involve the story. But the story is exactly how you frame it, right? So now journalism isn't about framing the story. Proper journalism is about just telling the story from an unbiased point of view, except that that changed in the Spanish-American War. That changed with yellow journalism. It changed with the Hearst family. That changed with these newspaper magnates that didn't care. It changed in modern days with Rupert Murdoch and his family. They just make shit up, man. I mean, literally just make shit up. And we sit here and take it like it's news. It's not news. They'll be the first to tell you it isn't. And it's just amazing.
Well, dig this. So a narrator is a noun. Okay, so someone who tells a story, and a reporter and a narrator, they're semantically related. So when you have that reporter who's behind the mic telling everything that's going on, are they really telling news, or are they giving a narration? Which is something, if you think about it, a narrator of a story is reading something that's already written. So I'm saying we have to question. We just can't take everything at face value. We have to investigate and question things that are told to us. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think that what Jimmy's brought up many times is actually the biggest argument for what will eventually become the mark of the beast, which sounds terrible, but it's actually the biggest reason it will happen, is because the ability to confirm your identity, your location, your place in space and time when you witness an event and report on what you saw is going to become so profoundly important, right? That there needs to be some verifiable way of documenting who you are, where you were, and what you did and said were accurate. And so that's what's coming. Like so we talk about the idea of the citizen journalist, which I think is great, by the way. Citizen journalist is exactly what we need. Mm-hmm. We need more citizen journalists, right? Mm-hmm. So the more of them we have, the better. So if I report to you that things in Hawaii, or man, the waves are 12 feet tall today, and every single wave had an orca in it because this migrating pod was coming through. They're eating salmon, which were somehow displaced by the big high temperature rise in Alaska with 67-degree temperatures there, and now they're all the way down in Hawaii. Well, is that true or not? Right? No, that's not true. But the thing is, if you don't have a way to verify that it's not true, it becomes more important to prove that it is true, if that makes sense. So in other words, you have to have a way to verify that the fact is the fact. And the longer that this goes on, the longer people lie, which is what they do in the media today. I mean, not just what we call mainstream media in general. They lie for profit, right? Because that narrative that's written for them makes some money, right? So
Exactly.
So to verify it becomes all the more important, and the only way you can verify it is to verify the source, right? And
the thing
come
is
down
too,
to that.
The more that happens and things need to be verified, the more people are going to want to verify. And even like I just said a couple of minutes ago, we have to question and verify. So anything nefarious that's a really big deal and is really going to affect, all of us, you notice it's always done under the guise of, this is good for us. This is going to be in the best interest of the most people. So we need to do it. Quite clever.
Yeah. Well, there is no us. There's only we. It's New Year's Eve. It's Aftermath FM. 30 minutes left or so. 39 minutes left on the West Coast of 2021. I'm gonna go get Mountain Devil. I see her over there rattling around. Hey Lisa Rue. Hey John Nelson. Hey Samantha. Hey SF. Hey Regular Girl. What's up, Chad?
And say a prayer tonight, 'cause a black shadow crossed my path, and my baby ain't coming back. There's a cold wind blowing, even though it's 96 degrees.
It's Aftermath FM.
And I'm crying out for someone to help me, even though I can see that she's a bad, bad woman, spending every dollar that I make. Oh, she's a bad, bad woman, and there's nothing I can say. Anything to help me, oh Lord, anything to help me try and forget those long legs and kisses the way she closed her eyes. Well, she'd wrap herself around me, wrap herself around me. Oh, I can't believe they were lies, 'cause she's a bad woman. She's such a bad girl. She's a bad woman. She's a bad girl. She's a bad.
Craig Chakiko. Bad woman. Mountain Devil. Are you there?
I am here.
Excelente. What's happening? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to everyone. Much peace, love, and harmony be with you all.
Yeah, man. So how's 2022 so far for you over there?
Well, very quiet, very quiet. I've been hanging out. Actually, I had about half an hour cat nap been nearly 24 hours up, really. I was hanging out at RR, Revolution Radio, Sparty. I've just been up and doing stuff and lay down for a little bit, relaxo, ain't too taxo. And here I am with you, embracing you all with my love.
All right. Well, not a moment too soon, because we were
There's a
just
song in
saying,
there somewhere.
yeah, we're just saying we got to get rid of 2021 over here. We're still waiting to flush the toilet. We got 25 or 35 more minutes until the commode will flush, and 2021 will be gone, hopefully, never to return. I'm hoping, next week it'll seem like it happened to somebody else. There'll be some new revelation that will change everything, and for the better. I'm hoping. So, but
let's hope so.
Yeah,
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Indeed. I mean, wow. Where do we start? Where do we pick up on this mess? It's been like.
Yeah, well, pick up on it right there. You guys jump in. I'm going to move. I'm going to go out and grab my drink on the front porch. This is Aftermath FM. That's Mountain Devil. That's Brandy Lou. That's Epic Journeyman. And, of course, you're here, and we're super stoked to have you. Stick around. We're going to count down till midnight. Move on into 2022 here on Aftermath FM. My name's Jimmy, and I am going to exit stage left. Epic Journeyman, here's the keys to the boat. You got the two ladies here. Take good care of them, brother. And make sure
we're going to be over there steering through the outback down under.
That's right. Make sure you put on some cologne or something, some Old Spice.
Wow.
Put the Old
It's been
Spice
a long
on.
time since I heard that name.
I'm just cracking up because all the modern things of Old Spice are the dude, riding the white horse or whatever, But so what about the idea so it's a different perspective perhaps down under there. What do you think down there? Like for us, it may not be the same thing that you feel down there.
She's not in Australia. Mountain Devil, you're in the UK, right?
I'm in the UK.
Yes.
You are in UK. Oh, sorry. So it was you and Luna on this at the same time. I thought you were in the same place. My mistake.
No problem.
See, there you go. So that's the first thing I'll throw away out from 2021.
But she's got a different perspective in the UK. I mean,
but in the UK, what do you think over there? Like so, it's got to be different. I mean, I see different things, but the way that I perceive it might not be the same.
Oh, wow. Ask me the question again. Everywhere is slightly different, but at the same time, we're all going through a very similar roller coaster ride.
I think to focus it, maybe what I'm thinking is like our perception of what media is, like in trustworthiness of news. Like so I'd like to see the fake news idea go away. I think the idea is way past its prime to go away. So what's a reliable source of information then?
Wow. When you're thinking, and as you're talking about out with the old, in with the new, it's actually, as it says, on the box. You do need to create a new, and you do need to have an open mind to create fresh, to shed the skin, as it was, shed the old skin, like snakes do. like get rid of the old, and then you have a fresh, brand new way of looking at things. It's really needed. There's many things there that have been in need of a fresh new start, fresh new ideas, a brand new start. And it's up to us all as a collective, to put energy into that, to put good, positive energy into that, put thought into that. As you know, we are energy, yeah? Everything is energy. Energy creates matter, yeah? So thought, heart, mind, creation into matter, yeah? As you know, an artist, before it creates into matter, has to go heart, mind, coherence, bang, into matter, picks up a bit of wood and it creates something beautiful, picks up the brush and creates something beautiful, into matter it goes, yeah. And that's what we have to do is see what's in our heart, yeah. Connect the heart with the mind and create. All the great ones before us that have done such things, they all are heart, mind, coherent people, and that give a thought to others. Know that everything is connected. Truly know that everything is connected on this planet, around the planet, far beyond the planet. Everything is connected. Yeah.
So do you think like looking back at 2021, what you're saying, I agree with in a lot of ways, that you can manifest reality from. I hate to use this term like it's from The Secret or something. That's not what I mean. But this idea of focusing your the energy of everyone focusing on something has the ability to create something in reality, right? And so do you think that what happened in 22-1, because I kind of think this might be true, is that there were players involved who harnessed that, and it's been going on for a long time, but I mean, more so than usual, through the use of social media, through the use of planned propagation of thought, to manipulate people to achieve their objectives in a way that's actually quite obvious. Like to me, it looks kind of obvious, right? So do you think that's what happened, and that's what we should cast away? It's kind of a setup question, I guess, but because I'm obviously behooved to thinking that is what it might be. Using Cambridge Analytica techniques, using mimetic engineering, using these things to use our energy against us.
The way they use our energy against us is by the way of friction, in the sense that it needs fear, for example, to feed upon, and it needs fear to subdue people. Yeah, it needs to keep people in situ and in a box, to create what it will and what it wants. Once it loses those kinds of power, then it loses it all, truly. Once people say no to all of those things, yeah, once people start creating from their heart, once people say, no, I'm standing in my own power, I choose what I want to create. I choose how I want it to be, yeah. And once people do that in a collective format, and step out of fear, and step out of the shackles, and stand up and say, no, I create, and I create for the well-being of all, not just in a selfish way. Yeah, I create for the well-being of all, because if we are all connected, it has to be for the well-being of all. Yeah, so if you create in that format, then it's very powerful. It's very powerful, and so then the spell gets turned against the caster, but we don't even want to think about retribution and punishment. Forget about that. We want to free the shackles, and then the rest just vanishes away. There is, if you fill a room, totally fill a room with light, there's no darkness, is there?
You don't even need to fill the room. You just need a spark, and darkness vanishes, right? Because that one spark will illuminate the darkness around it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It dissipates. So you don't even have to put any energy into any of that negative stuff, because again, it feeds it. Put the energy into what you want to create, into power, into being powerful, and standing in your power. What do you want? What do you want to see for yourself, for your loved ones, and for their loved ones, and so on? And then put that into, get the brush and start creating, start painting, on that teller. Get a bit of wood and start carving it just the way your heart tells you. Yeah.
Well, that's powerful, actually. Manipulating something that's analog in the world, like a block of wood, and turning it into a carving or making a painting. I mean, that is our true creation ability that we have as human beings, to manipulate matter around us in the very truest sense of the word, right? Art is the biggest manifestation of that. We can see it literally that transcends time. It'll maybe it'll get burnt in a fire, maybe it'll get buried under mud, but the thing is, it stands most often the test of time greater than anything else. And so, do you think? So, in the context of what we were saying earlier about the idea of these, we talked about narratives a little bit. So we have this narrative in America that there's this huge, big disparity. People are in fighting terms in the UK right now over whether Scotland should secede and become its own nation again, or
do me a favor.
Not.
Do me a favor. Hold it right there, because we got somebody else that wants to join in here, and he's up and running, and I want to catch him before he falls asleep. Hang on one second, because he's coming, ladies and gentlemen. You know him, you love him. Everybody loves him because he's a good guy. He's one of the best guys. He's a guy everybody loves. You might even call him the Ricky Martin of truth.
She's into superstitions, black cats and voodoo dolls. I feel a premonition, that girl's gonna make me fall. She's into new sensations, new kicks in the candlelight. She's got new addictions for every day and night.
Is that the Ricky Martin of truth right there, Billy Ray Valentine? What's happening, man?
Happy New Year's, buddy.
Hey, it's good to see you. Hey, it's the dawn of the East Coast Truth Syndicate. It stopped on by. Did you toast to say goodbye to 2021, bro, and hello to 2022?
Yeah, man. You know, we sat around in the living room watching the Twilight Zone marathon like any good Don would do. We had what is it? Cream cheese sandwiches and orange juice.
Nice.
We didn't do much of anything, to be honest with you. We just hung around and we saw the we've been watching the Twilight Zone and we had dinner. We didn't leave the house. Just stayed here.
Well, now
Twilight Zone marathon rules, man. It does. It's the best part about this Memorial Day.
Now
How you doing?
Yeah, there's Epic, and also let me introduce you to Mountain Devil. Mountain Devil. This is Billy Ray Valentine. Billy Ray Valentine, the Mountain Devil. She's over in the.
What's up, Mountain Devil? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Billy Ray?
Doing as well as can be expected under the circumstances, man.
And of course,
the circumstances we create, and we are going to do that from now on. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I say we're into the great wide open, and Billy Ray is totally into that. Billy Ray wants to create a reality that's beneficial, happy, and loving for everybody. Don't forget, now Brandy's here also, Billy. Say hello to Brandy. Brandy, say hello to Billy.
Billy, hey.
How you doing, Brandy?
I'm good. I'm good.
Happy New Year, Ollie.
I'm on the side of 22 with you.
Yeah, we're on the right side. You know, we're way ahead of these people.
Well, I know you guys, Mountain Devil too. The three.
I'm so lagging.
Yeah, it's the three of yous against. And the three of yous are already in 2022. So make sure you clear the way and make it a positive landing, because we got something like 21 minutes left on the West Coast, and Epic still got 2 hours left. Epic, something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let me just say, hi, my girl. How you doing?
Hi, sweetie. Good to hear you.
Good to be with you too. Miss you. My heart misses you.
Aw. It's wall-to-wall love, ladies and gentlemen. New Year's Eve. Listen, I'm throwing the captain's cap back over to you guys. I got to take care of some business over here on the perimeter. So, Billy, what are you looking for in 2022? I mean, are you seeing anything on the horizon? Something that catches your eye? Something you're gonna do, or something you feel like you want to learn how to do, or anything on the horizon that's sparking your imagination or your creative interest for the coming year?
I don't know, man. Things are probably going to be more difficult, right? They always get more difficult before they get better. So I'm anticipating something like that. But hopefully, we'll be able to adjust to it and make a positive out of it, right? I think we will. Anything specific? No, it's just in general. I'm just gonna see what we can do. Just in general, is try to keep a positive mindset, move forward, try to grow what we're doing, and try to spread a little bit of positivity, man. Other than that, man, I'm good. Very happy to be on the other side of 2022.
Yeah, for sure. This is the first year. Like I've been really unfortunately, actually, incredibly good about predicting the future. Most of these year-end things, and in this particular time, I'm kind of blind on this one because I could see it going so many different ways. And I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Like so the fact that I can't see for sure what it's going to be, because I haven't been that wrong in the past, right? It bothers me. This time, maybe add some hope to the situation because I can't see the downward spiral continuing. I do see some things that could be like there are major changes in the world. Like one is the idea of eternal life will probably put forward this year. Probably like the idea that
what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean the idea that like transhumanism, but not transhumanism in the sense that we know it today. Zoltan Isvan and people like that. The idea that the medical world will at some point announce that because of this genetic mRNA research they've done for vaccines and things like that, that they can cure cancer and essentially make people live forever. And I think that by the end of this year, this is my bold prediction. So maybe that's what we're going to start with. The idea of the bold prediction and then the more likely thing. My bold prediction is that's what's going to happen this year. Is that they're going to make people forced to think about this psychologically. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like so if that's on the table now, who gets it? Is it fair? Is it democratized? Is it just the rich and wealthy people? What does that mean? Like if you say that we can cure cancer, we can cure any affliction, and we know now we've unlocked the genetic code, essentially we have this ability, we just proved it with this rollout of fending off various mutations and things like that. And along the way, we just happen to fall into this serendipitous fashion. This ability, we can alter our genes, not just make glow-in-the-dark cats, but to go out and actually, enrich life and continue life indefinitely. What does that mean?
Can I jump in and answer
100%.
two things? One, I agree with Billy Ray. It's going to be possibly a little bit difficult and stuff like that because we are in a sort of birthing canal, and every time you go through a birthing canal of a new life, whatever kind of life it is, but of a new life, it's messy. It's messy. It's painful. It's complicated. It's confusing. The whole lot, and we are going through that. Secondly, we already have eternal life because we are spirit, soul, eternal, having but an experience right here, right now, 100%. In this body. So, are you really wanting to believe that a human being called scientist, okay, they may be finding a cure for cancer, this, that, or the other, but when they say they can give you eternal life, blah, 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 and have this and have that, and you'll get it, are you willing to trust that?
Well, no, of course not. Of course not. So, what I'm saying is that it's the first time that scientifically be plausible enough to. So in other words, if you look at the idea of this polarization, divisiveness of people, and this combative nature, and the ultimate extremes being fed to every day through social media, being a long-term plan to offer an out, and the out is this offer of eternal life, right? The offer is the fulfillment of the promise of the serpent in a biblical sense. Well, if you look at it that way, then it's set up that way. It is totally set up that way. And because the narrative, we talked about narrative earlier in the show, the narrative shifts dramatically, right? Because the other narrative that's been set up is that the U.S. government admitted UFOs are real, that they don't know what they are, right? So if you take those two things combined, then the actual baseline pillars that this is going to be built on are already there. So they're going to say, well, we just made contact. The Webb telescope went out there. It found there's life on Alpha Centauri, for example. We can see the seeds of it. We can see physically that there's absolute proof of life on this planet in Alpha Centauri too, for example. And then they say, well, along with that, we've just discovered, because we were trying to fight this horrible pandemic, we didn't know what to do about it. We just used this genetic technology we had, and now we found that we can actually cause the aging process to reverse. And that's the best bet, right? Because the younger people are, the better their immune system is. And the best way to get the immune system, at its maximum potential is to give us our youthful body again. And the best way to do that is what we just unlocked through this research we've done, right? And when that is offered up there, if you look at it from a social engineering standpoint, that's the reason I bring it up, is that what's going to happen is it'll change the entire, it'll deflate the left-right paradigm argument of civil war and all this kind of bullshit. It'll offer an opportunity for people to contemplate big things, right? And in the process of doing so, keep the cataclysm of the hand at bay. And I think there's something to that. I do.
I think the answer is simple, and we tend to complicate it very much so. I really do.
Billy.
I think we complicate things.
What's up?
Billy Ray Valentine. Do you tend to complicate things? I mean, I don't know. Do I overanalyze things? I don't know. I'll tell you one thing I've noticed. And I noticed it on Christmas Eve, and I'm noticing it tonight. I'm noticing that when I purposely don't want to bring up anything that's negative, I notice I don't have much to say. You know what I'm saying? Because we're always and consistently pointing out the discrepancies. So the thing is from a human standpoint, from an animal standpoint, when I'm looking out, I'm looking for anything that's going to kill me in the dark jungle, and so I'm gonna focus out and look for things that are negative, right? I mean, obviously, we're gonna look for the lions, tigers, and bears, because they could kill us. So I mean, we're naturally inclined to search out the negative, and I think the system takes advantage of that, and we're addicted to the negativity like sugar. We were talking about it last night. It's like a sugar addiction.
Bingo. It's an addiction. It's not a natural state.
What do you think, Billy? You think this the addiction to negativity is like sugar? It's like it's almost impossible to give it up without a really severe headache?
Right. I agree with you, man. If sugar is impossible to give up, negativity could be that way too, especially just looking at our surroundings. But these are things that we've largely created. Just like this whole, immortality thing. And eventually at some point we'll reach it. And to Epic's point, they're already talking about cures for cancer all over the place, saying that they could flip a gene. I think it was Princeton University that put out something about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
That they can flip a gene and boom, turn off cancer. They're looking at this now. So this is nothing new, and it's beneficial, and it's good, if this happens. But immortality is a very different thing. They'll shut off your cancer. You're still going to die at some point.
Well,
but
they
say that they're looking at your that they found the gene that causes that causes you to get old, and they've fixed it and all this other stuff. I think we are meant to die, and while I will take cures, but I think we are meant to die. If we achieve immortality here, I think we're what we're doing is just going further away from the source.
Well, you know,
I don't think we're meant to stay here. I think this is artificial.
You know,
as far as it's artificial immortality because like the lady said, I forget her name. She said, we're already immortal, and I agree with that. So I think it's all artificial immortality given to us in this realm. In all actuality, keeping us from what we have to do, from reuniting with the source.
Well,
in my opinion,
the pale
Absolutely.
horse, the pale horse over here in the chat said, "I Am Legend started with a cure for cancer." And what's funny is, when you mentioned that, I thought to myself, well, the main reason that most people who are not for the injectable have a problem with what it is actually what it does inside of our bodies. And so I think find it very interesting that all of a sudden there's a cure for cancer and it's using exactly the same technology. So it is like it'll put you in a catch-22 situation. Just like if, for example, when we used to go on vacations, we used to have to get a bunch of shots to go places, you get stamps on our passports. But nobody had a problem with it back then. Everybody was all good with it. No one even looked at it.
But it's not the same thing, Jimmy.
Well, hold on.
They're not the same because
it is the
none of
same.
them are proven.
No, it is the same thing.
It's not.
It is.
Well, it depends on why somebody disagrees with it, though.
Well, I'm saying it is the same thing. It's because vaccines are vaccines. So whatever
But those aren't vaccines. This vaccine's not really a vaccine.
No, this is an injectable, but I'm saying vaccines are like the polio vaccine, where they admitted that they put cancer viruses in there. So what I'm saying is, it used to be people just ignore what they ignore because they want to do what they want to do, and I'm saying that all the same people that have a problem with the injectable now, for the technology that's there, will bow down to the cancer treatment because no one wants little kids suffering from cancer, right? So the thing is exactly the same technology, exactly the same.
But hopefully we'll have more evidence of efficacy, right? It's not an 8-in-1 thing that's been jammed down people's throats,
Exactly.
So hopefully it'll be something else. And the main thing is it's not even being anti this vaccine. It's the choice of being able to take it. Are they going to force everyone to take a cancer-saving thing? I bet you they won't. I bet you they won't be setting up in the corners trying to give out cancer cures. I bet you they're going to freaking profit off of it. I get, they're not going to mandate the cancer vaccine. I bet they won't. It's going to be a totally different situation. Right now, they're trying to mandate this thing and give it to everyone, and nobody knows what it does to you, and people are dying left and right. I think it'll be very
and
different.
give it to people who don't need it or who may be harmed from it because they've already got it in their body. So a lot of it just makes no sense, and we're not having the choice, not being able to weigh out the pros and cons and make our own choice is where the base problem is.
Well, my parents didn't have any choice. They said, "What is that racket?"
It's not me. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a microphone.
Sounds
there
like
you go.
somebody was two dogs fighting under a blanket or something.
well. I just want to clarify. I want to clarify a little bit. So what I'm saying is, like, this isn't. I'm not talking about the moral right or wrong of it. What I'm talking about is how it changes. We were talking about the narrative earlier. How it changes the narrative. If all of a sudden cancer is cured. It's proven. You take this vaccine, you're gonna not have cancer, and it's proven that if you take this particular injectable, you will live 100 years longer. We haven't proven it yet because it's only been a couple of years, but it looks like you will because it rolls back the effects of aging. In other words, not only do you, because it's happened in mice already. This is a lot of people apparently don't know this. It happened in mice 10 years ago. They were able to rejuvenate mice and make them these old mice young again just by this injectable that they gave them, right, using DNA technology, right? So if you use this thing and you say, well, now not only will it cure cancer, but a byproduct is you'll lose 20 pounds and you'll live, to be 100 years older. How do you fight that? And but what I mean is not the actual effect. It's the psychology of it. So now all of a sudden. Do you see what I mean? It's disarming this everybody's brought to this heated moment where we're just going to go in total conflict. And now the bigger question is, well, what do we do about this? I mean, think about it. How do you think about it? How Grandpa's going to live? Your mom's going to live another 50 years for sure. You're not going to die of cancer. I mean, all of a sudden the narrative completely changes. It's not a left against right anymore. It's about how do we deal with this? And ultimately, the end game of that is, and this is where I'll wax philosophical, is that it's us against God, isn't it? Isn't that what it brings up? Like all of a sudden, thou shalt not surely die. That is the end game. See? That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if I quite see it that way. You know, first of all, like they're not going to give this thing to everyone. It's not going to be a thing. So even if they have the ability to be immortal, right? Even if you have the ability to extend one's life by 100 years, Grandpa's not going to get that. Grandpa's probably going to die, and so are you. You know, because we're just not in that club. You know, or you know how much money this is going to demand. And then they're already talking about population control. You think they're going to want to give everybody life extension? I don't know if that's going to happen.
Man,
as far as the debate of us versus God, it'll never be us versus God. Like people think that maybe like a Ray Kurzweil.
It's the apple, dude. It is. It's the apple of the garden. It is. That's exactly what it is. It's the apple in the garden. It's the
apple of the garden is not us versus God. The apple in the garden was us defying God and eating something, and we had no idea what we were doing. We're never any competition towards God.
Yeah, but this is the opposite of that. This is the
not worried about what we're going to do to him. We can never do anything to God.
And it was about a choice too. They made the choice to do it, and it's about choices too.
The apple in the garden
free will.
Is just it's nothing to do with God. The apple in the garden is totally separate to God. Excuse me to say this. We have to make a difference between God and the gods, between many things. And if you read the Bible, there is God, there is the gods, yeah. There's even technology and spaceships and Pleiadians, all that is written in the Bible. God does not even deny, because it is creation. He is always creating. He is love in motion, is creating. Now, if you don't mind me just say, is there already a talk about life eternal? And in what format? Mixed with the machine? I wouldn't want that. Would you want that? How controllable do you want to be? You have a remote control for you with your name on? And we are life eternal in spirit, you know. The question here is, how much do we want to be divided and continue arguing? Or are we going to create from the heart mind coherence together with creation into a new world? This is what we're trying to do here, yeah? Every day is create the new, yeah? The new paradigm, the new future. And if we're going to do that, is together from the heart for the better of everyone.
All right. We're counting down to midnight, Mountain Devil. Happy New Year, everybody on the West Coast.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Billy, I love you, man. Thank you so much for everything you do, brother. Really appreciate all the hard work you put in trying to get the word out. And
love you, man.
Hey, it's almost time. Brandy, much love to you, Epic Journeyman, everybody. We got about 30 seconds left of this year. We're gonna flush it. Happy New Year.
Muy buenas. Todos estamos encantados y inspirados de estar en su presencia. Antes de comenzar con la vibración de la música, queremos recordarles que en este momento, si toman el tiempo de ver con el corazón, no con la mente, vamos a ver que estamos rodeados, completamente rodeados de ángeles. Los vemos, los sentimos bailando, siempre bailando en el cuerpo.
Can't you see them all around us? They're all around us. The spirits dancing all around us.
Setting the tone for 2022. All right, there we go.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. Carlos Santana, James Brown. There we go. Were you dancing?
I was dancing.
I knew you were. I could tell. Even though I couldn't see, I could tell. All right, we're dancing our way into the new year. There you go. Billy Ray Valentine, Epic Journeyman, Brandy Lou, Mountain Devil.
Yeah.
Everybody's here. It's a party. So, all right, man. let's move away from this whole situation with the injectables, man, and let's talk about what's your okay, Brandy. Let's go around. Let's go around the table. All right, Brandy. What is your hope and wish for the new year? Everybody gets to put their hope and wish in the hope and wish hat tonight. So start out with Brandy, and then Billy. Then you're after Brandy, and then I'll be listening on my iPad with my iPad app, Aftermath FM app. And don't forget, it's 1 minute past midnight, but I don't think anybody's looking. You got pretty much 1 day to get that deal. There's a major deal going on for December, and I'm sure no one's up cutting it off right now. So don't forget, if you want to join up, man, now's the time to do it. Aftermath FM. All right, listen, Brandy Lou, what's your hope for the new year?
Well, Jimmy, in this year, I want peace and prosperity for everyone. Sound like, take off. On the beauty pageant, I really wish that people would learn to think with hope and to find find joy, find thankfulness in every day. And I think if we can do that, if we can all kind of live with that perspective, then it puts us on a better footing. And really, when I think about it, that is what comes to mind first and foremost.
Yeah. All right. I'll let you. I'll let you go at that. I'll let you go. Come on. What is your deepest hope for humanity? I mean,
my deepest hope for humanity.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you.
Yeah, let me think on that a little bit.
Because listen, Mountain Devil has personally experienced fascism. So I mean, you have a personal experience with a lot of different ways of being. So let me ask you, Mountain Devil, before we go to Billy Ray Valentine, Mountain Devil, and we'll go back to you, Brandy. But what is your deepest hope for humanity in 2022? It doesn't have to be major. It could be major, or maybe not. But you know what I mean? Go ahead, let us know, and then I'll answer you, Tofu 100 Monkeys, in a second there. Go ahead, Mountain Devil. Your deepest hope for humanity.
My deepest hope for humanity is that they find remembrance of who they truly are. Remembrance of whom they truly are is important, and that's what we are all here doing. Is we come from love and are making our way back to love through experiencing everything that so far we have experienced. So we have experienced many things negative, and my hope for humanity is that from now, from the heart, deep inside, we bring out the love, we bring out consciousness, we bring out awareness, we bring out compassion, we bring out the tiger in us and stand up, stand up in that power. Get out of your knees. Stand up. And as you say, I experienced living in a fascist regime where you couldn't sing about freedom. You couldn't write about freedom. You couldn't, even if you were a kid, you could not sing out in the street open, a bird flying free in the sky. And we experienced that for many years, over 50 years. And they tortured and beaten us and did everything. One thing they didn't break, because it's unbreakable, is our spirit. It was there latent. And the writers, the poets, the lyric writers, the music writers, the people kept doing it within them and brought it out in the right time. And that spirit, that fighting in a positive, loving way, that is what I want to see. Not fight as break and murder and, that is the old way. That is the tools they give us to keep us in shackles and on our knees. Yeah, is stand up in the purity of whom you are, and don't let anyone tell you, go back in your box. Is that enough?
Billy Ray Valentine. What's your hope for 2022? That's very powerful. Very powerful. Billy Ray Valentine, humanity, it needs hope. It needs direction. What is your biggest hope for 2022?
Yo, sorry, I was muted.
No
Biggest
worries.
Hope for 2022, man. Like Mountain Devil said, I think we're a species with amnesia, right? I say that all the time because we are. So it would be incredible to find ourselves, right? That'd be kind of dope. But just keeping it small for 2020, just maybe taking a step back and realizing, just realizing, nothing else. Just realizing that we're all under massive mind control. Everybody's under massive mind control, and we're being controlled and manipulated in so many different ways in order to get everybody at each other's throats and not be productive. If we could just realize that, we'll be in a lot better position and we'd be able to move forward and try to get some things accomplished. First step is realizing that we have a problem. If we could realize that we have a problem, we're good. So that is my hope. It's baby steps. That's a really big step though, right? But it's only the first step in a massive journey to find ourselves again. So that's my deal. Like I'd like for people to realize that we're all under mind control, all of us, every one of us. It's a true belief of mine that everybody here is under mind control, and if we realize it, I think we'll be better off.
Epic Journeyman, Allah.
We're all hypnotized. We're all under a spell of mesmerism. I think
All
that's
right.
correct.
Well,
actually.
what's your
And I think that a hybrid of what both Mountain Devil and Billy Ray Valentine just said is exactly my hope for the future. Is that number one, we'll realize that we're under a spell. We're under a spell, right? We have to know that, right? And the other one is that remember who we are. There's a line from the John Borman movie Excalibur, where Merlin gives, the king the ability to go conquer the castle, riding the dragon's breath, right? And then they party with Guinevere and all this stuff, right? And he makes a comment during the festival, where's the bane of men that they forget? In other words, they forget who they are, right? And so I think that's what it is. Remember who we are. We have real power. We have real power. Each one of us does. Each one of us is a creator, and then realize we're under a mind control spell. We are under a mind control spell, 100%. And that is probably the most significant thing that 2022 can bring if we take that and use that to fight the inevitable conflict of consciousness, which will be this debate of artificial intelligence and the opportunity to live forever. The ultimate guile of the serpent in the garden. Thou shalt not surely die.
Well, it's a blessing or it's a curse, Thou shalt not surely die. When you don't die, that means you get to live, right? But how much living
For
are
what?
you?
Yeah, right.
But
right.
how much living are you doing? When my biggest hope for humanity, at least for 2022, is that we can make it through 2022 to 2023. Honestly, that's my simplest hope for humanity, because at this point, we seem to be on the brink of so many changes that a lot of people aren't ready for. The dance floor is empty in the future. And only so many, only so certain people are going to feel the music and get out on that dance floor. Some of the older folk who don't really understand the music, they probably don't want to get on the dance floor. Lots of people are reluctant to the future. They don't want to go to it. They can't see past the smoke and mirrors of what's been put out there in the past. So the thing is every time something comes down the pike, it's the mark of the beast. Hey, when credit cards came out, they were the mark of the beast. When the barcode came out, it was the mark of the beast. When ATMs came out, it was the mark of the beast. You know, every single time something happens, it's the mark of the beast. You know, so I don't know. I just really, I think the biggest issue facing humanity today, right now, and is the most thing in the forefront, is cognitive liberty. And if people around the world, America and around the world, don't start to understand what that means, it's too late. Because at this point, we are literally just programmable humanoid robotoids, you know, just salivating over the screens in our hand. You know, and I mean, unfortunately, to be successful in doing what has to be done, you have to turn it off, man. And that's the problem, see, is turning it off. And most people don't want to do that. It's lots of people are reluctant to turn it off because you think, even just for a few hours, some people turn it off and can't stand, you know, thinking something's going on that they don't know about. That we have to sit here and constantly monitor the world for something that's going to happen. It's realistically, it really, if you can't see it with your own eyes, it's really none of your business. It's like, what's going on over in some other country across the whole other side of the world has nothing to do with me. And it shouldn't affect my well-being or my life. Some other country's political disposition, some other country's violation of somebody's rights, that's their business. If you can't fight for your own rights in your own country, it's not my business to fight for your rights, just like it's not my job to, you know, put my viewpoint out here and say what I think politically. That's not my job. Your job is to discern information that goes in front of you, whatever that may be. So decide what kind of food you want to eat every day. You know, what kind of meal do you want to have? You want to have a sumptuous meal that satisfies every single cell in your body? Or you just want to eat, you know, sugar? And that's it. Just live on sugar, because that's what the negativity is, just like sugar. So you decide what you want to eat and then go from there. You know, if go ahead.
I see it instead of fight, I see as in the words of a wise man sang one day. Stand up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. And basically you stand up, you know, in the peace and the harmony and the power of you and the remembrance of whom we are. And everyone here just said that. It's about remembrance. It's about feeling powerful. It's about awakening. And it's also very much about compassion and embracing. Yeah. Instead of going around with a stick hitting everyone around the head.
Well,
but we also need to know that it doesn't need everyone to be in unison, only an X amount, and it goes into a domino effect, and everyone grows together upward. Sorry, Jimmy.
Well, no, yeah, I'm just saying, I really think that everything needs to go back to a local situation. I mean, I think we should grow our food locally. I think we should, you know, support local businesses. Even if you're in a big city like Billy Ray Valentine in New York City, he's still within wherever Billy can travel and within his neighborhood. You know, Billy, I mean, you use a lot of, you know, you do a lot of walking and stuff, and, you know, you cruise, you take public transit. I mean, whatever's in your area there, that's your area, you know? So you know the news about what's happening over there, but I mean, realistically, down the, you know, past anywhere where you're living, I mean, what do you care what's going on in the town next to you? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Why do we care about everything outside of ourselves, away from ourselves, but we don't care about anything around in our own neighborhoods? You know, back in the day, they didn't have cameras in the Italian neighborhoods. They had old ladies that hung out the window. They watched everything. They saw everything in the neighborhood.
They knew everything.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what
the
I
old
mean.
Pigeons.
But I'm just saying, man, if you don't pay attention to your own neighborhood, I mean, if your side of the street's not clean, why are you sitting there talking about other people's sides of the street, saying their side of the street's not clean when, you know, see what I mean? We got our nose in every other place except for the place where it matters. Because I think if we all paid attention to our local area, where we got together with family members, we got together with each other, and so on and so forth. I think things would be a lot better. I think we'd have more compassion for people. I think love would flow, like you guys were talking about earlier. Go ahead, Billy. I think
Well, it comes down to balance. If we're out of balance and we're paying so much attention to what's going on in areas that we don't need to pay attention to, but we're not paying attention within ourselves and within our own direct communities, then we don't have that foundation. And we need to have that compassion and empathy, what's directly surrounding us, before we can reach out. So it's that microcosm, microsystems and macro systems. We need to pay attention to that, what our attitude is about it. Because if it's off balance, then we're not going to be successful in the things that we're trying to do.
Doesn't it solve the fake news problem, Billy? Because, I mean, if you're not sitting there going to the trough on the wall to get your stories about what's happening around the world, if you're not doing that, you just, living your life without it. I mean, I think that would take a big bunch of the negativity away from people's lives. Wouldn't you say?
Sometimes I think you're right. It's a tough question, right? Because, it's I'm just going to use this example. It goes around the alternative media. If you turn off the TV, you wouldn't know what's going on and you wouldn't be bothered and you'd walk around your business. That's like saying, if you don't go to the doctor, you'll never know you have cancer. So you walk around and be fine until you die. Sometimes you got to be aware of certain things, right? And you have to use your discernment, because a lot of the things that you're getting, people's opinion, you really don't know, right?
Well,
but
let me
what
ask
we
you
need
this.
to do is what's that?
Well, let me ask you this. If you didn't go to the doctor, and you had cancer, and all of a sudden you just died, what's wrong with that?
Well, you die.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying. But you don't go through any of what you have to go through once you find out about it. Now you know about it, and you have to go through all these changes. And it's the same thing with this information. For example, you see what I mean? So even your life could be better off without knowing it. It's just like that scene in The Matrix, man, where the dude says, "You know what, dude? I'm sick of eating this gray slop floating around under here trying to hide from the man. You know what? I'm going back in the Matrix. Make sure you give me a steak, and I want to be rich when I come back. Like that. So I'd rather
somebody important, like an actor.
I'd rather eat a fake steak, have it believe in it's a steak, than eat the gray slop of the truth. You know what I mean? Because honestly, the only bit of this information that had potential to do me any good was Bitcoin, and I was so scared because of the nature of this information, and my wall of sanity that I put up. I blocked it out and didn't trust it. And I screwed up. That was my moment. To actually make this information do something for me, the news and information that we all talk about.
Oh well, there's still time for that too. But so you have to take care of your own and make sure your house is together before you go and screw with other people's houses, or try to learn from, if you don't have a solid base, you're never going to make it, right? So you have to get your base solid, but also, if it's happening to people in Australia, it's only a matter of time before it comes knocking at your door, no matter where you are. You could be in Maine or in California, or in New York. Eventually, the tyranny will make its way over. So this is why, we need to stay up on it and see what we can do to prevent it while it's out there and help our fellow man. Because if it's happening to our brothers, it's going to happen to us. If it's happening to our sisters, it's going to happen to us. It's only a matter of time. We can't let it slide, as a global community, which is what we are, unfortunately. And I know people are like, oh, globalism, whatever. You have to deal with what it is at the moment. And we were born into this system. So let's try to work within it and then maybe shape it into something that we want. But regardless, if something is happening to the men and women in Italy, something's happening to the men and women in the United States as well. It's just not as profound. It's just not as evident, right? Or because it's not knocking at your door right away. But eventually, it's gonna come knocking at your door, right? So we need to be aware of all the things and try to fortify ourselves. When these things come our way, we'll be ready for them. Does that make any sense to you, Jimmy?
It does. At the same time, though, I wonder if being outraged about something that's going on someplace else that I can't do anything about gets me frustrated, but doesn't allow me to have any kind of release or relief from the frustration because there's nothing I could do about it. So the same thing is if there's something going on in my neighborhood that's going on that I'm paying attention to, that is something that I can do. You know what I mean? I think in the modern day, a lot of what we all experience is a frustration. In other words, we want to have dialogue, but there's no actual place to have a dialogue. We want to solve problems without violence, but the only thing that seems to get any attention is when we bash windows in and set cars on fire. You know what I mean? So it's like honestly, if you look back at the Black Panthers from the late '60s, early '70s, what they were doing in their local neighborhoods, they were policing their own neighborhoods. They had weapons. They were walking around making sure nothing was going on. You know what I mean? They were feeding kids in the morning for breakfast. This kind of thing. I mean, it's some sort of small ways to, localize, even if you're in an urban environment like, where you are, Billy. So, I don't know, man. I have the best wishes for humanity. I wish things would move in a direction, and hopefully they will. I mean, go ahead. So I hear somebody wants to jump in there. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought I was muted.
No,
Sorry. You want to change the world, you start with yourself. You start within. You work at yourself. You pray, you meditate, you make yourself stronger. When you're strong, you look after yourself and you can look after your loved ones. If you're weak, if you don't look after yourself, if you're weak, you break. You want to change the world, you start with yourself, with kindness, with love, compassion, self-love, not in a, I love myself. No, true, unadulterated, amazing love that is from oneness, from God. You start with making a good foundation. You look at others and you do to others what you want them to do to you. Truly look at them with compassion. You see someone, I lived out in the street once and I had one sandwich and I was sitting down about to eat that sandwich. Just next to me was someone who had no sandwich at all. Eating that one sandwich would make my tummy probably a little bit more fuller, but it wouldn't save my life altogether. But sharing that sandwich in half with someone else gave that someone else hope. So both of us were still kind of hungry, but both of us were filled with love and hope. And I felt stronger and more able to go out there and find another sandwich, and so did that person. So when you start looking outward, we cannot change the world. We cannot change other people. Yeah, and we are not here for a big fight to change the world or other people, but we do change it by going within, by looking within, by seeing our weaknesses and our strengths and working at it.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
I love it.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
Come on.
Get up, stand up.
All right. There we go.
Sorry, I'm a bad girl. I keep making noises through the music.
That's all right. Nobody could have heard you. That music was super loud. Billy Ray Valentine, man. I can't thank you enough for dropping by. And do you want?
Thank you. There's a like a block party going on out here.
Is there?
Sorry about I mean, something's going on. I mean, it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, New Year's Day. People are partying all night. So sorry about all the background noise.
Oh, we don't hear nothing there. I heard something. It sounded like two dogs fighting under a blanket earlier. I don't know what that was, but
probably me.
Someone was snoring, I bet.
I love it.
We didn't have anybody snoring out here, but it could have been it could have been me, man. I'm not sure.
Well,
regardless, like it was dope. I stayed up just for you, because otherwise I'd be asleep right now.
Yeah. Well,
watching the Twilight Zone marathon. I'm gonna do it all day tomorrow, and I'm gonna sit here and eat, and then the third, it starts all over again, right? That Monday. So let's see what develops, man. All of you. Brandy, you know you're killing it, Brandy. Brandy is doing so ridiculously well. It's incredible.
I know.
She's fan-freaking-tastic. All right, so I'm incredibly impressed. Incredibly impressed.
I was about to say I need to hand my voice of reason over to Lizzie over there. Listen to her.
Awesome.
I don't see myself as the voice of reason.
Well,
I'm just from the heart, and I just share my love and experience with all. That's all. Very humbly.
Well,
and thank you, Billy. Appreciate that.
Oh yes, thank you, Billy, and glad to finally have met you.
Oh no, it's a pleasure. We'll bring you on one of my shows at some point, and of course, the Epic Journeyman. Thank you for being around. We got to bring you on as well. Maybe we can talk more about competition against God. That sounds like a fun 1 hour discussion that you and I will disagree on. I'd love to have that.
It's intriguing.
And Jimmy, man, you're the dude, brother. God bless. Thank you, man. I love you, bro.
Love you too, bro. I'll be seeing you next week, eh? And,
all right, buddy. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Happy New Year's, Aftermath.fm.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. All right. Well, there he goes, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Ray Valentine. You can find him every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday over there at Billy Ray Valentine Prime Time with Billy Ray Valentine. That's going to be it for us tonight. We're going to head on out, and we're going to let the station pick up the last 20 minutes or whatever. And it's been a hardcore year. I'm glad it's over. We made it all together here. And can't thank you enough for being here, eh? So,
thank you, Jimmy, for bringing me on.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate it, everybody. All right, so here we go. Happy 2022, Dawn. Happy New Year, Walking Axel, Spike. Happy New Year, Lisa Rue. What's up, Drone? Happy New Year's to you, Dub. Happy New Year's to Brandy. I see you in the... Hey, Regular Girl, TX, GLP. What's happening? Let me see. Chad, thanks, everybody. Can't thank everybody enough for all the support for the show. And we're looking forward to this new year. And we're going to be getting into a lot of interesting subjects. Don't have nothing to do with negativity. Maybe just some new ideas, man. It's always fresh. Aftermath FM, the place to be. My name's Jimmy. Happy New Year, everybody. Say Happy New Year, everyone. We're going to head on out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And thanks, Brandy. Thanks, Epic. And thanks, Jimmy. And thanks to every single one out there listening in. We love you.
Thanks, Solos. Thanks, Cool Daddy-O. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, John Nelson. Go ahead, Epic and Brandy. Say goodbye.
Happy New Year, everybody.
What you gonna do if Kalaman comes for you? What would you do if Kalaman comes for you? Yeah, I'm gonna run and step up.
Me got some good karma, it's good marijuana. Come and share with me, yeah. Call the herb man mixed with the sound system. Me got some good karma, it's good marijuana. Call the herb man mixed with the sound system. Call the herb man mixed with the sound system. Call the herb man mixed with the sound system. Call the herb man mixed with the sound system. We got the herb, herbalizer. We got the herb, herbalizer. We got the herb, herbalizer. We got the